Wow. You guys, check out the number. Look at that. This is video number 50. I've made 50 videos in just over 3 weeks. Just under 3 weeks. I can't do math. That is mind blowing. I don't know what else I have to say about that. I like the pace of this project. It's super cool. Oh, I've been meaning to make a video about uh, something my friend Megan, not the one in the next video, the one who I introduced you to in Atlanta. So many Megans in my life. Um, so Megan Mossholder knows that I've been living with my parents for the last 2 years, and when I posted my first vlog back in November, made some comment that I'm sure she didn't intend to be as important to me as it was. But she essentially said oh yeah, no, it's cool that you're making these videos. It makes sense, you don't have a lot of peer social connection because you're living with your parents, and this is just a way for you to express yourself if you don't feel like you're getting a chance to have your voice heard. And that made me think a lot, and it also made me wonder if that's true, and I don't think it is, or what, I don't know, if there are some unseen reasons that I'm not aware of that I want to make these videos. I really think it's just because I always want to get better at making things, different kinds of things, and videos are something that I have toyed with for half a decade and have never really gotten to dive into. And the one format that's worked well was my Project 365. And so doing something every single day that forces you into the thick of really figuring out how to make good art is a good thing to do. And initially I wanted to do that on a weekly basis with the vlogs that I started making, and now I'm doing it on a 3 times a day basis because the weekly basis wasn't enough time for me to psych myself out and raise my standards to the point where I'd never publish. But I don't know, it still makes me, so this goes back to the video just recently about living in Hong Kong for a while, that it is really important to, especially in situations like I'm in now, where I am living with my parents, specifically to spend time with them, to also go out of your way to create social connections. I have a friend who I won't name who's moving away from New York City to start in a new city sometime soon. And I am frustrated by that person because when you're in one place for a long time, the whole momentum you're trying to build is your community, the people you know, your network, your ability to do things that are meaningful within that space. And that's something that I didn't even have a sense for until I came back from Hong Kong and realized that I could get plugged in here in the Springs and really do something meaningful and make a contribution to the community. And I'm sure that's harder in a bigger city. In fact, I know it's harder in a bigger city, and it's even harder overseas. But it can be done. There were people I met in Hong Kong who were very well plugged in to either the expatriate scene or to other 20-somethings or other college study abroad sorts. There are a lot of different social communities wherever you go, and inevitably there are people in the same situation you're in. So if you move to New York City to get into the music industry, you're one of a lot of people who move to New York City to get into an industry. Meet those people, get to know them, and then as some of you are successful, the rest of you will be successful as well because you all help each other out. That's how these things work. And I don't think that's something I understood until very, very recently. There's actually a really great episode of the Tim Ferriss Show where he talks at South by Southwest about building a community and how to go to a conference like South by Southwest once and never need to go to network ever again. And that is a great thing to listen to. I'll put a link to it right down here. But anyway, Megan's comment made me think all these things, tons of self-doubt and tons of like, am I really plugged in? Do I really see people regularly? Do I feel like I'm being listened to? Am I surrounded by people who are helpful in my career? And like, yes, actually more than ever in my life, after having taken the last few months to kind of account for that and pay attention to situations in which those things are relevant, I am, more than I ever was in college, more than I ever have been here at home, uh, plugged into the business community. I'm surrounded by mentors, both locally and all over the world, who have been where I'm going with the businesses I'm trying to build and are willing to help me, which is the most incredible feeling. And I can't even describe how amazing it was to stumble into those relationships, uh, and have them be such generous, wonderful, like helpful people. But I'm also surrounded by people who are, um, who remind me that where I'm at is not where most people are, and it's important to stay grounded in the fact that, uh, on a day-to-day level, there's a whole different set of concerns that people have that are not my own. And so I try to keep myself around people who have completely different concerns, just because it makes me a better, more empathetic person. And I would like to be a better, more empathetic person. I think that makes me more pleasant to be around in general. So, um, yeah, I have a business community. I have good friends who are fun to hang out with. I get to spend quality time with my parents, and that's all a result of having realized when I went to Hong Kong, I went because I was surrounded by people who didn't get it in my mind, right? They weren't trying to build anything. They weren't focused on selling products or getting an audience. There was just a whole different set of priorities for them. Getting a job was where they all wanted to go, and I had been offered and turned down jobs. I had had shitty jobs I didn't want. And so I told myself this story that being around those people was hurting me. And being around the people you love and who love you is never hurting you. Don't make that mistake. But it does help to surround yourself with other people, in addition to the people who love you and who love you, who have been where you're going with what you're doing, who are already where you want to be in your life. And those people exist. But you have to find them. You have to put yourself out there and go in places you don't belong in, and meet them by happenstance. For example, one of the most important people for my study abroad business, I met through a series of 7 introductions that started at an event that I never should have been at in the first place. So, you really never know where these people are going to come from or where the important influences in your life are going to show up, but you can take steps to actively make finding mentors and people to guide you more likely. And it doesn't involve running away to another country. I know that now. I've tried it. So yeah, those are my thoughts for video 50. Wow. And a big thank you to the 2 to 10 or 15 people who have watched almost every video. I am really, really, really just flattered and excited and a little bit embarrassed. And I just like that you guys are getting a kick out of some of these videos, whether or not you watch them all. It's very, very awesome to me that I get to connect with you guys in a new way. Even if we don't talk on a daily basis, or if we've seen each other once in the last 3 years for coffee, just I don't know, being able to share where I'm at with you is a really, really cool opportunity and privilege, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you for taking the time to watch these videos. Yeah, I'm going to keep making them. It's going to be a good 1,000. Here's to many more.